Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This is another tutorial about the use of the servlets, and this is gonna be the second video about the use of the servlets. So for the previous video we was using the servlets just with the HTML file and servlet.java file. But in this tutorial we are going to use uh, another way or another average is the Web.xml file. So what we need to know about this file, that this is an intermediate file between our browser or our client side and the server side. So we are going to make a simple architecture about this. This is the client component and this is the server component. So we are going to describe this as a client, for example, and this as a server. Okay, so what is the real use of the web XML file and what is the main objective? The web.xml file is a deployment descriptor. What is the deployment descriptor? This is like an intermediate between the client side and the server side. For example, when a client want to make a request, for example, to a server like this, we're gonna make it a request, for example. Okay, so this is gonna be a little bit a long tutorial, but we are going to talk about the theoretic side and the practice side. For example, to have access to server, we need an URL. This URL should have a pattern design. For example, my 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 login. Okay, so this my login should be as an input from a client to have access to the server. The way and the average how to do this is the web.xml file. So this is the web.xml file. This web.xml file is the intermediate between the client side and the server side. It is the way to make a deployment description using, for example, servlets, uh, probably or surely to do the mapping. We are going to explain all these details in our tutorial. So the servlets and we can make also a configuration of servlets, also GSPs. We are going inshallah to talk about the use of the GSP in another video. Please just don't forget to make a like and to subscribe to our channel to motivate us to push or to share another videos. So we will make an example. For example, this server side should have a login component and a registration component, and our examples will discuss about these two examples. So what we are going to do is to go to the IDE Eclipse new dynamic web project. We will give it any name as for example XML example use. Okay, this is the target runtime for the Apache Tomcat. We're gonna let it as like this, and next we should use the web.xml deployment descriptor. We're gonna choose it and we choose finish. Okay, sure, we are going to go to our project explorer, to our XML example use, and here this is our structure of files. We're gonna find the source, Java resources, libraries, a lot of files and components. As much as I told you in the previous videos in the libraries, we should add another library for the SE version of Java. You're gonna see its importance in the use when we will need it. So we're gonna let it later. Firstly, we have to create. I don't know if I can activate the webcam. It's blocked. Okay, no problem. So we're gonna create an HTML file. For example, we're gonna name it index.html like this. Next, finish. And about our web.xml file is exactly here in web inf lib folder web.xml. So the XML folder is an important deployment descriptor file to make a mapping between our servlets and the web browser side, client side. So this is a component or a tag for the file welcome file list. We're gonna not need it for this time or for this video because we are going to talk only for the servlets. So we're gonna let this for this moment and go to the index file. We will just write or create a simple a element like this. Yes. Uh, we was talking about the login, so we will give an example for login and registration. So here we are just to create or to write login, and especially we need an href with a target name. So this target name is related to the servlet mapping. For the XML file, we have to create or to let. So firstly, we have firstly to create our servlets. So you can choose the servlet component, but we are going to use the classical way as a class because a servlet, firstly, it's a class. The package we're gonna use, for example, any name. So we're gonna use it as the Java style package. It's gonna be, for example, en.com coders. Okay, you can choose any package, so just don't have a confusion between our personal packages and the Java packages. So we are trying to give it this style of uh, writing. So the name of our class gonna be, for example, login. Okay, so login, finish. Yes. So to let this login.java class be as an servlet, we have to make an extension from the HTTP servlets. Control space and choose this. So directly it's make an import for the jakarta.servlet.http servlet. That as the previous video I told you that here in libraries we have this library in servlet.api here. Okay, so here you're gonna find this library. So what we need is to create or to override an existing method. It's called service. So we have just to write override and to write protected. You can create it like this, service, and to make control space and choose this, there is no problem. So because of we're gonna let it protected protected. Here we gonna need two parameters. The first parameter is the HTTP servlet request or any other. So at in general we have two. So the HTTP servlet request and HTTP servlet response. We're gonna choose the first one, and it makes an import for this from Jakarta.servlet here, this library. We're gonna give it an instance, for example, request like this, and the second gonna be, for example, HTTP servlet control. It's gonna be the response. So response, yes. Uh, what we really need to do is to create an exception. So throws exceptions is I think IEO or IO exceptions control. Yes, this one. I think this one. Nope. So exception. Yes, this one. So here we have just to write the servlet exception and the exception for the input output from the customer. This part of exception is gonna generate the class exceptions that we import here from the Jakarta servlet and the java.io exception. Okay, why we are facing this error here? As I told you previously that in libraries you have to add another version that probably you're gonna find it inbounded. So to fix this error here in IO exception and the servlet exception that we override as a service method, you just have to go to XML your project and the properties, and to go here you're gonna find the SE version of Java is inbound. So I don't know why this latest version is always inbound, but to fix this error you have just to select it and to select remove and to go to the class path and add a library and next, and you have just to choose another version of execution environment here. Make sure that you are not selected another inbound versions of SE Java like this 18, 19, and here just select this 17 Jerry that is not inbound and finish. Apply and apply close, and the error is handled. So why we are trying to use this Java SE is to have permission to use this Java exception because it's in the java.io package, so we have to use the version or the library of the standard edition. So we are just trying to make a simple test of this servlet that is logging that Java using the Web.xml. So we are not in need to use a front end or other side. It's gonna be just simple like this href and the the selected link, the tag A. So here the login we are going to use a simple output print message in our console that to show or to make sure that the method of service is working correctly. So I am a service, for example, service method login, for example, like this, and we just have to save this and save this, and we are going to run the server and show the errors that we are going to face. And next, this is not our project, this is the only one XML example. Finish. Okay, by default it's gonna be run into Microsoft Edge. As you see here, this is our front end but login. So here we are facing an error that uh, it's related to the URL path or the pattern of URL, because we need to make a link between the client side, that this is the client side that we are facing here, login, and the other side, the server, is the Tomcat, Apache Tomcat. So to have the link between these two sides, we have to use the web.xml file. So this web.xml file, as I told you, this is deployment descriptor. So we have just to mention the servlet tag, servlet, yes. This servlet tag gonna contain two things. The first thing is the servlet name. So the servlet control servlet name, and the servlet name we are not it's not necessary to have the same name as we created our servlet code, our servlet Java code, or our servlet class login. No, the servlet name is gonna just make a link between servlet and the servlet mapping. So the servlet mapping gonna looking for the servlet name. We're gonna just give it a name as Servl, because we are going to create another link for the registration. So this servlet name is gonna be this Servl, for example, as a name. And for another thing, we need the URL. So the URL pattern. So the URL, I think it's in the other pattern. So the URL pattern is in the other tag is in the mapping. So I make this error. So servlet. So here we have the servlet name to link between the servlet tag and the servlet mapping using the servlet name, and we have to choose the same name. So I will explain you why we are trying to use this. And here the URL pattern. Okay, so the URL pattern, yes. So the URL pattern is related to, okay, I'm sorry, just tabulation tab like this to have just a clean code. Here we have just to mention the servlet class. The servlet class is to mention the package servlet is this is in that com coders. Okay, and the servlet name is login. Again, and the URL pattern is related to what we have mentioned here as an href, because when the user gonna use, for example, this, we're gonna have a URL that should map between our href link and our servlet. So to have this link, we have to mention the URL pattern that should be the same as we mentioned here. But this is a pattern, so we have to add this like this and save. Here is no error. I told you we use this servlet name because probably we can have a lot of servlets in our project or a lot of servlets in the same package. So to make distinction between each servlet, we have to use to make this servlet name, and the servlet name is known as much as this servlet name in the servlet mapping, and all this is using to make a mapping between the client side and the server side. So right now we are going to test to make a simple test. Okay, so to run this XML, run as, run on server, Tomcat, next, this, and finish. Okay, so our server is running. We are going to put each enter here and to make this here and this here, this here. So here we are going to, yes, this is our method. So the servlet is executing when we are trying to access from the client side, and when we choose this element, and the URL pattern is gone to our web.xml to link between our HTML file and our login file, and the servlet is executed and mention this simple output in our console because it's not a big or a complicated code. This is just, and we can use the same thing to create another another uh, another link, for example, for registration. So this video was just to show you how to do this using the XML file register. So I think the last versions of Java is not necessary to use the XML file. Please correct me this information, my register. Okay, in the XML we're gonna use the same thing, but we have just to make sure to choose this. It's gonna be for the registration, also for this, it's not login but register, and here my register my register should be like the href my register. So we have just to create our servlet classically from scratch here in the same package, because we are using the same package in register. We just have to right click on package and class and to name it register. Finish. We just have to go to the login servlet and to copy our code and to go to the register and to paste, and just to change this by this register as the name as we create this, and this register. I think everything is good. We have just to refresh our page. We are going to create a BR element as a new line. BR here. Yeah, what's this? Okay. I'm sorry. Yes. So like this. So register. We are facing an error. My register. We are going to look for this error. So my register, and in the web XML we have register, my register. So here we have the mapping. The mapping element should be like what we put here as an index. Yes, we are going to save register, okay, no problem. Okay, register.java, there is no problem here. So we're going to save all these things and to restart our server. So window, appearance or show view, servers, I have it in the other screen, and to restart and to go to our page, register. So it's normally showing here, okay? So what we have here is the register, and as much as you see here, just a simple demonstration to know how to use servlets using the XML file. Sorry if the video was too long. Login method, register, login, register. I think that's it. This is the end of our video. Hope you enjoy it, and don't forget to let a like and a comment to encourage us, and if you have a question, and to subscribe to our channel. And Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.